you're consolidated. You've got about 6 gates for this airport, all in about 3,000 square feet, right? So half of Leh is inside this airport.
Welcome to 10-Minute Travels. With me, as always, is Phil Freeman.
And with me, as always, is Shane Patrick. We're going to talk about motorcycle riding in India with Robert Morgan. And if you want to learn about anything else that 10-Minute Travels talks about, check us out at 10minutetravels.com.
Let's get right to it, shall we?
Yeah, it's looking back, it still takes a while to try to filter it all out and throw it through and try to figure out what we went through collectively. And like you said, our group was tighter and more cohesive than most groups because we kind of went through a trauma together. I said it was like India's Stockholm syndrome, where India is the captor, and it brought us together. And I think some of the riders would probably not want to do that again, and then some might even want to try it after a couple of years once the memories start to fade a little bit. But when we pulled into the very last hotel in Leh, and we were in safe and sound, there was just a huge feeling of mutual respect and relief that we made it. And we also knew that we still had to fly out of Leh. And so nothing was for sure, even to the very end. And that airport works out pretty good. It's a pretty nice airport, right?
Oh, super. Yeah. So you can you check in, but you can't actually get through security up and before an hour and a half before flight. And so we went in multiple taxi loads, obviously, and depending on the flight times. But the group of 3 that I went with, we wound up sitting just waiting to check in for about 3 hours because we went early enough to make sure that there was no issue. And then we turn around and finally are able to get through security. Phil, you and I both had words with security personnel, given that they made us, I mean, you might as well have just emptied your bag into their carts or into their bins, because if they couldn't identify something in your bag, they were taking it out and running it through again until they find something else that they can't identify. So then you finally get through the security deal, and the reason that they don't let you through earlier is that you're consolidated. You've got about 6 gates for this airport, all in about 3,000 square feet, right? So half of Leh is inside this airport. At one point we were sitting next to sick people. At one point, there's legitimately no seats for anybody. Quite a wild last step of getting out. I think, thankfully, I was on time. I think there were several delayed flights, but I wound up seeing just about everybody in Delhi before we kicked off to our final destinations.
And waiting in line isn't really something that's practiced in India. And I had to chuckle to myself when finally our flight gets called, and I'm always the last guy on the plane. So I go through the gate, and you had to walk to the bus to take you across the tarmac. And I was walking, and one of the guys had to just cut in front of me to get onto the bus.
Yeah, you left space in front of you.
Okay.
Obviously, you didn't care to be in line.
And then we all started trickling back to the United States and having our own reverse culture shock and appreciation for the things that we have here and the opportunities. And it's really just amazing to see such a large country, such a influential country running on just the energy that it runs on. India is amazing. It's bottomless. But when you're if you were to talk to somebody to come to India or to ride motorcycles or not, what advice would you give them?
Be prepared. And I think it's anywhere in India. Be prepared for a little bit of adventure. Be prepared to be a bit flexible. I think that those that have that are strict planners and like sticking to a specific itinerary, need to adjust their perception of what is a good vacation, because I think that plans will change for you in India. as far as seeing some of the most spectacular scenery that you ever will see. Um, it's it's it, it it's an incredible opportunity. As far as seeing individuals that take pride in what they're doing, boy, I'm so impressed by that culture that still exists there, uh, where you'll see hospitality people taking pictures of the food displays that they've put out. Um, I am certainly on the uh, team that would absolutely take another opportunity to go to India, just because I seek adventure and I enjoy the chaos and I enjoy the what some people may see as as frustration. I work to find the joy in that, and and I certainly appreciate it for the adventure portion of what India brings.
Well, now, when you got back to home after being there for, geez, better part of a month, what would you say is your, I don't know, coming back to the States, the most redeeming character that you, I mean, the love of where you live and all that. What stood out as things that you were grateful for that you had when you came back?
No, there's two things that stuck out very quickly. One is order. I think that when you come out of an environment of chaos, that finding order is redeeming. The second was steak, and I ate a lot of hamburger and a lot of steak when I got back from India.
Yeah, that probably was tough coming from Texas.
Yeah, there's been a lot of barbecue in the last month. I made up for my 21 days for sure.
So you've ridden a lot, you ride a lot. What did you wish you had in your tank bag? What will be in your tank bag next time for India?
Well, number one, I would bring my tank bag.
Ah,
number Number two, so I and this particular trip I needed more waterproofing than what I typically have. I most certainly would have done. I most certainly would have done a better plan for waterproofing and just moisture management under my clothing. To be honest with you, and that may not be a year round thing that you need for India. I took a point and shoot camera in lieu of my iPhone, and I'm very proud of the pictures that came out of that. I most certainly am happy that I went that route. We had one guy that was on the trip that took some phenomenal photos with a DSLR, or a big mirrorless camera, and I think that was more problematic than it was probably worth, considering what the point and shoot cameras can do anymore. Boy,
I got
outside of that, if you need real coffee, you better bring some stinking coffee beans, because everything in India is instant coffee, and that's all. That is the answer to your question. I would have brought coffee beans.
I have a question. One last one. What have you brought back from India in terms of influence or something you saw over there, or attitude, or tangible or intangible, that will most likely stay with you for the rest of your life?
Most certainly, a can do attitude has resonated with me, at least in the last month since we've been home. Um, my scenario is far better than the scenario that a lot of those that they find themselves in. And I am most certainly grateful for the opportunities that I have where I am in the United States.
I hear you there. Dang. Anything else, Shane?
well, I guess I'm curious how your GI tract performed.
Yeah.
Because when after I went to India, the first someone asked me about my tank bag, and my response was a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah. So and I don't know how many of us, because I don't know that a whole lot of us were vocal about this throughout the trip. Personally, I had no issue until the second to the last day, and I think it was a combination of a few things. Number one, um, I think that the altitude got to me more than I realized, and I think I developed a fever. And number two, I think I ate something that was a little bit rotten. And that last day in the hotel, I wound up not even eating dinner. I went to bed as soon as we got to the hotel, and I was having cold sweats, and I was up about every 30 minutes, relieving myself, gastrointestinally. And I was so fearful that I was going to be dealing with that on the plane ride home. Thankfully, I broke that fever that night, woke up at about 3 in the morning and was 100%. So I was good to go. But yes, I would most certainly recommend that if you're if you're gastrointestinally sensitive, to come prepared for a wild experience.
Shane, what book is he reading right now?
I don't know, Robert. What book are you reading right now?
All right. So, are you guys familiar with Extreme Ownership from,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So I've got Extreme Ownership. I've got, I'm reading that when I'm looking for business influence. And I've got, Robert Galbraith's Hallmark Man, the eighth book in the series, when I'm looking for murder mystery experience. So those are my two.
Sweet. Phil, what's going through your
Between books, I just finished The Wide Sea by Hampton Sides, which was about the third voyage of Captain Cook. Really loved it. I've talked about it quite a bit on our trip because I was reading it as we went, and I made it further through the book than I thought I would. But yeah, that brought a lot of perspective about what it was like to travel back in 1782 to 4. Wow.
I started that on audiobook after you recommended it. And the narrator is phenomenal for that. I don't know if you've listened to the audiobook at all for that, but narrator is phenomenal. It makes it super interesting. It's a British accent, and it's super intriguing.
What do you got going, Shane?
I just finished Immense World by Edward Young. It's about all the sensory, not just the five senses we have, but the senses all of the animal kingdom has, which is pretty fascinating. And I just started Power of the Dog, which is fiction. Don Wilson, I think his name is, but it's about the it's a fiction set in the drug wars starting in like the 80s in Mexico. And Robert, maybe in like 3 years, I suggest you check out Shantaram. I can't remember the author, but he did an amazing job writing about India. It will take you right back there. You will smell the smells. Yep. And really, really good.
Yeah, he's right. He really describes it. You are in India when you read that.
Wow. Okay, I've got it written down.
But I'd wait a little bit, like let your memories fade a bit.
Yeah.
It'll be fun when they come back.
Need to bring it back.
Yeah, in a traumatic sort of way.
I'm not sure that Indian food. I told my wife, said, because she's a phenomenal cook, and she does well with Indian food. And I said, let's wait till 2026 before we bring that back in the rotation.
Oh, that reminds me of a question I was going to ask you. The end of the meal, the dry spice mix.
We didn't really run across that very much.
You didn't. What about the chutney that smells like Lysol?
I don't recall us running into that much either.
Maybe that's more to the south.
Well, it happened before with Anu's trips, but we didn't go to the same restaurants.
Well, next time, Robert, you have that to look forward to because it's something else.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
Well, dang it. Awesome. Thanks for showing up, Robert. Awesome.
Man, this is great. Good fun looking back on the memories. It was a phenomenal trip.
If you can, maybe you can WhatsApp me your footage of going up Pooh Creek.
Yeah, what I'll do, I'm gonna put it in Dropbox so that you can download it full resolution.
Okay, I appreciate it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And
All right,
super fun to meet you, Robert. Really
Yeah,
good
Shane, this has been great.
to hear you do it. Like brings back the trip we were on, and yeah, super fun. And hopefully our paths cross somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be a good
on
time.
motorcycles.
Yes, sir. Very soon. Guys, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, Robert.
You got it.
Thanks very much. See ya.
Bye. That was Robert Morgan talking about riding motorcycles in India. And if you want to learn anything else about 10-minute travels, check out 10minutretravels.com.
And we want to remind you to make sure that your sense of humor matches your sense of adventure. And please like, subscribe, and share this podcast on all the platforms.